G'day guys. So, I've got something special to tell you about. Hello Raven. We've got a male dingo puppy. Now, up until probably only a few years ago, I didn't know dingoes came in a variety of different colours. I just knew them to be either the really golden colour like Cruiser and Tina, or as a child I saw a couple that were more of a greyish yellow than a gold. And their coat and their colouring obviously suits the environment that they're from. So this one, his name's Raven. He is just under 5 months old. He got brought up to the farm yesterday. Raven is a male, and as far as what they can tell from the short time that they've had him there at the facility, is that he's very chilled, very relaxed, and gets along well with everyone. So he's not a real dominant personality. He's a pretty laid back dingo, so that's a pretty good fit for us here, with Tina being such a dominant personality. So Raven is actually a captive bred dingo, and whether they are wild born or captive bred, there are still so many dingoes that need homes. One of the things that I've noticed, and mind you, he's only been on the farm for not even 24 hours, but he's a lot more open to the new environment and the new surroundings, the new people, the new dogs, 2 new dingo friends. He's a lot more open and I wouldn't say accepting, but he's nowhere near as fearful or reserved, and is not showing the levels of anxiety and desire to escape and get away and be left alone as what Cruiser and Tina showed when they first got here. Tina and Cruiser are wild-born dingoes. They were born in the wild, and throughout whatever period, it's only a very short period, they found themselves in a domestic situation. I am noticing a difference in just how willing he is to explore, but just the fact that I can only go off my experience. Now, Tina was a very similar age to Raven when she came out here. Tina took so long to warm up and to settle down and to get comfortable and feel relaxed in the environment. In no way is Raven relaxed and comfortable at this stage, but he's showing signs of being there so much sooner. I know that even Cruiser, when he first got here, he would retreat, because if anyone remembers, we had him in the back room up here that was set up for the dog accommodation, and he would retreat under the bed right into the corner. And if I walked in there and just tried to go under the bed and put him on lead, he'd sit there and he'd show teeth because he had nowhere else to go. He was, and it took, going back to in my memory, it took a good couple of weeks before I would open the door and come in, and he would not be excited to see me, but allow me to approach him. Tina, it was the same, but I would say Tina was a little bit worse than Cruiser. Cruiser was a little bit older. Obviously, you can see behind me, we've been building this dingo accommodation here, and it's a pretty cool little cabin, if I don't say so myself. I personally would love to sleep out here. And so with Raven, it's a little bit different. I don't have to try to catch him. This is where the dingoes live now, and he's quite comfortable already in the fact that last night, the very first night I'm going to feed him, I'm expecting it's going to be very difficult. He's probably not going to want to eat. He's, going to be real nervous. And sure, he was standoffish and, didn't want me approaching, but he didn't just completely disappear and run and head for the furthest point in the gate like Tina did. He would run away, but then I would just sit there with a bowl of food and call out Raven, tap, tap, tap on the food bowl, and he would start approaching me. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting this so early. I feel like that's a pretty big difference in my experience so far between a wild-born dingo and a captive bred dingo. He's a pretty good-looking boy, isn't he? He does look like he has the potential that he's going to be pretty big. Up close, he's got thicker legs than Cruiser. And he's got big paws, which means he may end up being a little bit bigger than Cruiser. And he's got a little bit of an Alpine coat. It's quite thick, but the colouring, as you can see, is all black with little bits of brown around the feet, legs and the face. So the big test that we all knew was going to be the test was Tina. How is Tina going to accept, or how is Tina going to react to a new dingo joining their pack and sharing this area? We know that Tina behaves differently in here when the dogs come in versus when Tina goes outside to see the other dogs. She's a lot more accepting of the dogs. It's not her territory. She's out there. She's better behaved. In here, she throws the weight around. And initially, she started doing the usual thing where she approaches in quite a confident and dominant way, and nose poking and coming around the back and little nips on the back of the shoulders. But Raven just seemed to understand exactly what was going on, took no part of it as a threat to him. He would just lick her face and lick Cruiser's face, and it's almost like it's a bit of a match made in heaven. He doesn't take offence to Tina's domineering behaviour, and so in return they're not taking offence to his presence. So far so good. Like I said, we're not even 24 hours in, and we're hoping that everything's going to work out perfectly. But if we're going off the past 18 hours, it's all looking really, really good. To observe with the difference between if you were interested in adopting a dingo, but you were unsure, you weren't sure if you'd be able to do it, you weren't sure if it'd work for you. I feel like this is a pretty good sort of test run that we're doing in documenting the difference that I'm experiencing between a wild-born dingo and a captive bred dingo. Now, personally, I don't really think that it's right to be breeding dingoes in captivity when there's no program for any release. So it doesn't make sense to me. There's dingoes that need rescuing. They constantly get brought in through parents being baited with those baiting programs and puppies unable to survive on their own in the wild, and then once they're in care, they can never be released back to the wild. It's a law that I feel needs to be addressed and looked at, and some kind of release program put in place so that they don't have to stay in captivity if they're wild born and can be released back to the wild. It looks like Raven is significantly further along than Tina and Cruiser, the two wild born dingoes. Hopefully this keeps going in this direction, and it's only going to keep getting better and improving. But yeah, he's way more relaxed. Hello mate, what's going on buddy? How are you boy? Hello mate. Yeah. Oh, Raven's coming down. See, there's no way Tina or Cruiser would have done this early on. Hello mate, how you going buddy? Look at you. Good boy mate, good boy. Well, that was cool. Even that, like what is he, 8 meters away from me there? Just on his own, just cruising around, happy to walk past. There's no way Tina would have done that. So, Raven, 4.5-month-old male dingo, is just joining the dingo pack here on the farm. We're very excited to have him here, and we're also very happy that we could free up another spot in the Dingo Rescue for them to help another dingo that comes their way. Charlie was saying they're just constantly rejecting dingoes at the moment because they literally have no more room. So it's very sad because it means that the outlook doesn't look very good for any of the dingoes coming along at the moment. So with freeing up a spot by having Raven here, means they can help another dingo in need. Hey mate, yeah, good boy. So with all the dingo adoptions, they all start out as a trial. A trial being if anything goes wrong in the initial period, they will always take the dingoes back. There's nowhere really for them to go other than back there, so it's not like it's a commitment from you indefinitely right from the beginning. Obviously here at the farm it is, we're taking it as we're adopting him, and even if it didn't work out with Tina in this pack, that we would still make space here at the farm for him. So there's no doubt in our mind that he's going to stay here. It's only whether he's going to stay here inside the enclosure with Tina and Cruiser, or whether we make his own one. But so far, looks like he's quite happy here. So if you remember when Tina first came, this is where she stood, or laid, right in this corner here, as far up and away from everything as she could be. And this is the only way I could get her, when she just completely cowered in the corner, and I slowly came in bit by bit, put her on lead, and then take her back to the house. Now with Raven, he's not showing that level of anxiety or fear at this point. He's definitely weary, and that's very, very normal for dingoes. They're very untrusting of new people, new environments, new smells, new dogs on the other side of the fence there. These are all things that have kept them alive for thousands of years. Not trusting new experiences. But I'm seeing a lot more a lot more of an inquisitive nature and a lot more of a confident demeanour than I did with the other two. I'm really hoping that translates to a much shorter bonding period before we can become good mates. See, even just walking down here and he's walking towards me here. I did not expect that at all. So, you know, if you did think that it wasn't achievable for you to adopt a dingo because it's in the too hard basket, maybe rescuing a captive bred dingo might be an option for you. I'll see you in a bit. Right guys, stay tuned for more updates on Raven, the new black dingo puppy here at the farm. Oh, look at him, he's coming following me. See, this is amazing. This is what I would hope to achieve in a month with a wild born dingo. So, fingers crossed we're going to be mates much quicker.